All right, so we're back. So hopefully you have made a decision. You have your drawing in the brainstorming section, and you've decided where you want to put the candle, the large candle, so that the candles, the birthday candles will fall off yellow, then red, then blue. Fall off in order. And remember, we can't actually put the heat on the candles. So you needed to decide where you wanted to put it underneath the rod so that they would fall off in that particular order. All right, so at this point, if you were in a classroom, we would be taking ideas from different students on where they would like to put them. Sometimes people say, I want to put it between candle 1 and candle 2 because that would be the best place. Sometimes people say, I want to put it directly under candle 1. And sometimes people say they would like to put it closer to the end of the pipe. So I think today we're going to try to do it right here near the end of the pipe. How's that for a candle? There's my flame. All right? And my wonderful drawing. Okay? So that's what we're going to try today. If you were in a classroom situation, we would go with majority rules, and we would take 3 or 4 suggestions. Oh, and don't forget to label it candle. There we go. In case it doesn't look like a candle, but sometimes mine don't. All right, so we're going to go with that. So I'm going to go ahead and light the candle here. And I've got my fire extinguisher. And the other thing we want to do is we want to time how long it's going to take for it to fall off. So if we pull up our, oops, you know what we need? We need a hypothesis here. And let me get rid of this. Hold on. Notice, Mrs. Lamb, that did not go away. All right, so our hypothesis is if we place the big candle, and we're going to say at the end of the pipe, then the birthday candles will fall off in order, yellow, then red, then blue, and because. And you need to explain why you believe that it would do that. So pause the video and write in your hypothesis. You can copy this one with whatever decision you made, which we're going to say at the end of the pipe. Copy this one, and then you have to give your explanation why you believe that would be the best place. So pause the video and come back when you're ready. All right, you're back, I hope. So, in order to do this, we need to make some observations. And you notice that, let me just put that in mode here. We're going to add the color of the candle. So we're going to do, oops, sorry. We need to do, love my board, yellow, then red, then blue, because that's the order we want them to fall in. And we're going to set a timer so that when it actually hits that time, we're going to record what time it dropped. And then while this is going on, you need to be writing 4 observations, all right? And because you're not actually doing the lab, because it's a demonstration, I'm going to do some observations up close for you, which is good if you're at home, or even in the classrooms, I would still do this for my students so that they're not actually touching the fire and the flame and hot things. So, all right, so ready to go, got the timer, and we're going to start it the minute we get our candle into position. So, oops, this is why we do this carefully. And put it out. That's why we use this nice table. So, we decided we're going to put it right at the end. And I'm going to hit start. Okay, so we have our candle at the end of the copper pipe. And you hopefully will be able to see, there we go, the yellow, the red, and the blue. All right. So while we're looking at this, we've been talking about heat transfer. We've been talking about the 3 methods of heat transfer. We've been talking about conduction, which means that you're actually touching. We're talking about radiation, which is heat traveling through empty space, like the sunlight that we get. And we've been talking about convection, which has to do with air heating up or water heating up, some kind of fluid heating up and rising as it expands and sinking as it cools. So part of what you need to be thinking about is, of those three types of heat transfer, which one are we going to count on in order to get these birthday candles to fall off? And notice that our heat source, our candle, is not actually touching the pipe or the birthday candles. All right, that was 1 minute and 8 seconds. So we're going to do 1:08. So you see what I'm saying about the candles falling off in order? You saw the yellow one fall off. So the other thing is that I'll do an observation for you. We know that probably something had to happen to the pipe right here where the yellow candle was in order for it to want to fall off. Because I didn't bump the table. It had to do with something with the heat source that we have. So if I wet my finger, because I don't want to burn myself, and I touch the copper pipe, first thing I'm going to do is touch back here on the end. And notice that I can keep my finger there. I can feel a little bit of heat back here behind the blue candle, but it's not hot enough that I'm worried about hurting myself. So in your observation, you could write pipe warm behind the blue candle. So the other thing, we figured that something must have happened to the pipe here in the front. Now notice I'm cooling off my finger so that when it absorbs heat, it's got a lot greater distance to go before I actually reach the point where it's going to be really hot on my finger. So I'm going to touch right here. And notice that I pull my finger off very quickly. It is much warmer here where the yellow candle was than back here where the blue, behind the blue candle. So in your observation number 2, you could write pipe very warm where the yellow candle was. All right? So we're at about almost at 3 minutes now, and we're letting the heat source take care of its business. Now, another observation for you. If I hold my hand over the candle, what do you think I'm going to feel? Do you think it's going to be warm? Let's see. If I hold my hand over the candle, yeah. I'm sure many of you have done this before. It's dangerous. You should be careful, but I'm sure you probably have. If you hold your hand over a candle, like holding your hand near a campfire, you can actually feel the warmth without actually having to touch the fire itself. So that could be an observation number 3, that holding your hand over the candle, you can feel heat rising off of the candle. All right? So we're about 3 minutes and 40 seconds into this. Another thing that a lot of times students want to know is they think that the heat is traveling through the pipe. So I can do another observation for you. If that's true, I should be able to put my finger in the end of the pipe and feel some heat. So if I stick my finger in here, I can feel that the pipe is warm here, but notice that it's not burning me. So it's not a lot of heat here, but I can feel that there is some warmth inside the pipe. So that could be an observation number 4 for you. All right, so we're a little over 4 minutes. And the length of time that this takes all depends on how close the candle is to the pipe. It decides on the warmth of the room. If the room's a lot warmer, then the temperature of the pipe will be different. If the room's a lot colder, the temperature of the pipe will be different. The other thing is how high the flame is on the candle. So there's a lot of factors that can change. So even if I did this for several classes, which I do during a day, each time my length that it takes for each candle to fall off is slightly different. So I never know for sure how long it's going to take. We hopefully will be able to do this in less than 20 minutes because there have been days when I've had to make adjustments. And that's the difference between doing an experiment and doing a demonstration. When I'm doing a demonstration, I want to show you something in particular, and I know what I want to happen. If I were doing an experiment, I would just do it and run it and not be able to make adjustments. because we would want to record what actually happened. So this is a demonstration because I know exactly what I want you to be able to see. So we're a little over 5 minutes here, and I think we're going to go ahead and pause for a minute, and we'll record the times, and we'll come back to you when we're down to just the blue candle.